I am not here to debate with anyone. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
Okay, for all you subs, do not email me this goofy nigga's link anymore for anything, okay? I'm going to address him one last time. O'Shea has been telling me for the last month or so not to engage with you fools. But since I've gotten about 10 emails with this dude's link about this bullshit video, so-called this video, I'm going to address him one last time. So we're going to do this Black Gnostic style. This one is especially for you, Mind of Marcus 3. I don't even know why you carry the Honorable Marcus Garvey's name or his symbol on your channel, because you do a disservice to him. One of my circle mates, he's the grandnephew of Marcus Garvey. And I'm sure if he saw what you do in his uncle's name, he would throw up in his mouth, because you, son, are a fool and a clown. But that is not being Black Gnostic. So we're going to do this Black Gnostic style again for the last time. So here is the response to the Mind of Marcus.
I was about to do a video on the entertainment provided to us by Tariq Nasheed firing Sarah on the air on the Ism show, and I will still do a video on that. But there's something more pressing that I have to put my attention towards for just a minute. I had the unfortunate displeasure of stumbling across a BGS IBMOR video that was in direct response to the Black Diaspora reposting of my video. Big Booty Brenda and the Educated Lames will die together. Now, this guy, BGS IBMOR, is a complete and total fraud. He is no master teacher. He is a fraud, misrepresenting everything that I said in that video, throwing up needless, stupid insults, the 4-year-old and whatnot, while addressing absolutely nothing that I had to say in the video. BGS IBMOR, you're not the only person in the world who's read Kurzweil and what's his name, Gladwell. All of that crap that you talk about, automation, the singularity, AI, loss of jobs, the United States not growing, I've already factored this in, and I'm already investing in it. Do you even own Bitcoin? This guy put up a video on his channel that said that he was going to re-expand the content because he finally saw it within himself, that he was going to say that I don't care about the dummies. I'm going to go back to talking about politics and economics. And then the first video that he puts up isn't his explanation of Bitcoin, but some white guy's explanation of Bitcoin. You see, it's a person like this, a person who hides behind books while never actually dipping his toe in the water, that keeps you from understanding the nuances that can only come with experience. I'd be willing to bet that BGS IBMOR does not have Bitcoin. Guess who does? And guess who could talk to you in simple terms about the real purpose of Bitcoin, why you would want to buy it, how you get it, because it's rather difficult, especially if you want to remain anonymous while you get it. And if you want to trade in it, how to move in an agile enough fashion so that you can move between other cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, Dogecoin, things of that nature, or move it back into currencies like the euro and the dollar, but do it fast enough that you can actually make a profit. You see, because that's kind of difficult too. It's difficult to get in, but it's even harder to get out if you don't know what you're doing. People who have never gone through those transactions won't be able to actually apply all this theory that they throw out there.
Now you heard that. Now he sounds like some dude that has a mentality of a 4-year-old. Sounds like a dude that has issues. But beyond that, let's get one thing straight. If I called myself a master teacher, it would be on my website. It would be on my channel that says that I am a master teacher. I do not call myself a master teacher. First time I ever heard somebody call me a master teacher was about 3-4 years ago. I was giving a lecture, just a talk, at a community college. And after the talk, my associate, the lady that I was doing the talk with, she was in the background while I was talking to the students because we had a breakout and we were talking to the students and we were just chopping it up the same way I chop it up in my Hangouts. And I had about 20 students gathered around me and we were just chopping it up about different subjects. And she was telling the other professors that I was a master teacher. I never called myself a master teacher. I might call myself a master student, but I never call myself a master teacher. I am honored that the people that come to my channel think that I am and have bestowed that honor upon me. They call me sensei, they call me master teacher, they call me a whole bunch of things, but I never call myself that. I never think I know more than anybody else for the most part. Unlike you saying that you do a lot of things and you have a lot of stuff and that you know a lot of stuff and you studied a lot of stuff, but it doesn't show up on your channel. That's all I'm saying. I hear the words, I don't see the work. Now, let's get to Bitcoin. I posted the videos on Bitcoin, not to show what I knew. Like I said before, I post stuff so that some people that may not be aware of Bitcoin or may not be aware of something can actually learn. And the best people to learn from are the people who created it. So the white guys that I put on, the first white guy I put on, which is Richard Martin, I played a lot of his stuff because Richard Martin has been trading currencies for 40 years. He's an expert at trading currencies. He's somebody that I have listened to over the last 10 years, and I play him quite a bit. And the reason that I did that as far as Bitcoin is concerned, because it came up in a hangout, the cryptocurrencies in a hangout, and I posted it for the guys that were in my hangout that wanted to know more about it. So I played not only that, the financial sector, which is Richard Martin. If you listen to him, if you actually listen to what he said and what he was talking about, a cryptocurrency is just like any other currency. It doesn't matter. It's got to have a value. Somebody has to place a value on it. And when they place a value on it, it becomes an instrument just like anything else. The other part is the other two guys that I played on cryptocurrency were a guy who has been programming for a very long time, and he was the first person that I knew that actually talked about it way back when in 2009 when it was first invented. And then the last guy that I played, Nick Szabo, was the guy who actually invented the doggone thing, actually proposed Bitcoin before Bitcoin so that people would have a wider knowledge of it. It doesn't mean that I own it. I don't own it because I don't trade anymore. Even though back in 2010, me and a buddy who does trade, and he does trade currencies, he's been trading currencies for like 10, 12 years. He does trade currency. We were talking about it, and we were talking about Bitcoin way back when. And we were talking about it before it was even popular, before most people even knew about it. But like I said, I don't trade, so I don't feel comfortable giving advice about something I don't trade. So this is for more about information. But since I happen to I keep getting links from my subs about this. Mind of Marcus, with your goofy ass. I'm going to tell people about getting into currencies. And one thing you did say that it's difficult to do, it's difficult to trade, and it's difficult to move. What you're doing, Marcus, is what we used to call gambling. Anybody that tells you they're invested in something that's very, very risky and unregulated is telling you how to gamble. I trust MGTOW Universe about telling you how to play poker, because at least that gambling is regulated. Now, since I really wasn't that interested in Bitcoin, and I'm still not that interested in Bitcoin. I mean, if you want to make money, if you want to gamble on it, go ahead. I feel comfortable with people gambling their own money if they feel comfortable doing it. I just tell people, be very, very careful when you do it, because it is an unregulated instrument. And what Richard Martin was telling you is that the big boys with a lot of dough and a lot of influence and a lot of leverage are actually getting into the game. And when the big boys get into the game gets tilted. That's all I was trying to do. Make people aware of not how to do it, but how generally to trade an instrument, trade a currency, because a cryptocurrency is a currency, whether you like it or not. Now, what he did get me curious about is actually looking up at a chart. I'm going to tell you guys about somebody that claims that they trade something, that claims that they do something with no proof because he doesn't have any. Talking about it, spouting some names, spouting some websites, spouting that kind of stuff. Spouting that kind of stuff is what we used to call a dog and pony show. If you know Bitcoin and you know how to trade it and you know how to demonstrate it, especially with an unregulated instrument like Bitcoin, and you're talking about how hard it is to move, how hard it is to make money from it. I mean, right now it probably isn't, because it's at its gambling phase. It's at an explosive phase. So if you're first in and you get out on time, you're going to make money. But when you say trying to invest in it, I think he's being disingenuous. That's just my personal opinion. But if he doesn't demonstrate it to you in pictures, he doesn't actually go to the board and actually in pictures demonstrate to you how he does what he does, then it's a dog and pony show. It's called receipts. And I've listened to enough dog and pony shows over the past 30 years to actually know. The guys that know demonstrate. The guys that don't talk. He's one of those guys that talk. That he's read Kurzweil. That Kurzweil book is about 20 some odd years old. The Singularity is not a new book. Everybody knew about Kurzweil. Kurzweil's been around since the 60s. Kurzweil made musical instruments, okay? Kurzweil's been around a long time. And if you're an old coast to coast listener like I am with Art Bell, you've heard of Ray Kurzweil more than a few times, amongst others. He's not the first one. He's not even my favorite one. Malcolm Gladwell. Now, I don't know if I mentioned Malcolm Gladwell or not. I may have. There's a couple of books I like about Malcolm Gladwell. He talks about neuroscience, and he talks about it in a way that you can actually understand it. But the book I think you were talking about that I do mention, that I do propose, is Carol Quigley, Tragedy and Hope. But you couldn't get that one right. But going back to Bitcoin, I did look it up as a chart because I was curious. Like I said, if I don't trade it, I don't really suggest it or demonstrate it. But since he did bring it up, I did find a chart, the lifetime chart of Bitcoin, and it was extremely interesting. And if Marcus traded, he knew what the fuck he was doing, which he doesn't. The chart would tell him exactly why Bitcoin exploded. And I'm going to pull up the chart and I'm going to demonstrate it for you. Now, this is probably deeper in the weeds than most of you guys probably want to go as far as trading currencies. You guys that already know how to trade and know your charts, this is old hat to you. But I would gather probably 90% of the people may or may not be able to follow this. So bear with me. This is going to go deep in the weeds. I'm going to demonstrate to you why the automatic traders actually jumped on Bitcoin and almost, it looked like damn near double there. I think they did double the price of the currency. Okay, you see the initiation phase, because this is a lifetime chart. I'm not sure exactly what date it's from that it started, but lifetime chart when it went from like no money and it got a little traction, and then you had the first initial phase where you had its first blow off. Okay, that this is what we call a handle. If you're looking at the lifetime chart, you got an initial phase, you have a big run up and a blow off. That's the first smaller blow off, and then you see how it trends downward, and it finds some kind of consolidation. It bottoms out, and you see what you see: 1, 2, 3. You see a triple bottom. In other words, it's what we call a dead cat bounce. You had a dead cat bounce, and then you have another initiation phase where you have a slower uptrend. Now, this is like a normal uptrend. You can see it right there. It's a normal sloping uptrend. It's gaining momentum, which is not bad. But this is the pattern, if you look at it, that all traders will actually see. Now, if I had been watching it, had been interested in it, I might have even invested in Bitcoin, because the computers actually did. You can see even in this guy drew a line. Okay. He's actually drawing the crossover point for what we call a cup and handle. We used to call it a teapot, but it's a cup and handle. You can see the handle here with the initial blow off right there, and then the bowl of the cup. And then right here, you see its resistance. Now, it tested its resistance once, twice. It climbed over it, and you have a retest right there, and it held. And I'm pretty sure the AIs, the automatic traders, jumped on it, because that is a classic what we call cup and handle, or teacup. A teacup signifies an uptrend. Now, normally you would get a continuation of the uptrend once you get a teacup and handle. But right now you have a mania. How do you know you have a mania? Anytime a instrument, whether it's stock, commodity, currency, whatever, goes straight up like that, that's a mania, or what we call is a blow off. You can see the first time it did it, it was a blow off. It went straight up and it came down. Now, this chartist does a very good job, because he's got the Fibonacci levels actually drawn, and he thinks it's going to be a 30% retracement. The last time I saw a blow off like this was basically in 2007, 2008 with oil. I think oil in early 2008 topped off at $141 a barrel, and actually people thought it was going to go to 200. What is oil at now, including inflation, right? Including inflation. Oil is what I think it's like $40 a barrel, and it went all the way down damn near to 22. So what you have now is a blow off, which is an extreme overly bought situation. That is why you have a mania in Bitcoin. Now, I do believe the reason you have this uptick is because the World Economic Forum and these folks actually got behind it and opened the banks up to it, because they want to test out digital currencies. That would be my guess as why you have this uptick in cryptos. Now, which one they adopt, nobody knows. But what you have right now is a mania. So anybody in this realm right now is gambling. I was just talking to one of my subs who used to do Forex, trading currencies on FCXM. I think it's FXCM. He was trading currencies, and they found out that Forex was actually taking the other side of the gamble. A lot of people got cleaned out. I'm not saying that you can't trade this shit. What I'm saying is, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, invest your lunch money. Don't invest your house money. Be extremely careful, because this is a blow off. This is a blow off. Anybody that does charts, or has traded for any length of time, currencies, or any kind of instrument, sees this, this is what they call fools rush in where angels fear to tread. I hope that Marcus actually told you this. Now, I didn't listen to his video on Bitcoin or what he's trying to explain as Bitcoin. Had a lot of people coming to my site trying to steer my people.
And it's the same when it comes to social theory. You see, when you got a fraud who just reads a bunch of books, but doesn't even actually own any Bitcoin, what you're going to get is a person who theorizes about all this crap. This sounds real good on paper. And it sounds like if you put it into practice, you'd be able to get somewhere. But when you actually run across this person in, say, a Google Hangout where he is discussing things with an angry black feminist, he is unable to control the dialogue. You see, people like BGS IBMOR, they theorize about Bitcoin. They don't have any. They also theorize about women and can't do anything with them. That last hangout that BGS IBMOR had with all those other people that I don't know, I think it was on Solo TV's channel. You know what? I do know how I ran across it. It's because Solo TV, I don't know why, subscribes to my channel. And so I went over to his channel because I'd seen some of his stuff too. And so I went over to his channel just to be like, why did this guy subscribe to me? We are not, you know, if he's over in the Manosphere, that's not where I am. Is there some commonality that we have that would warrant him subscribing to my channel? And the first video that I came across was the hangout with that awful performance by BGS IBMOR in which he was just talking over this black feminist while not employing any of this years and decades of theory into the conversation to create a more amicable platform for discussion. You see, according to him, it shouldn't matter if a woman is mad or upset. He ought to be able to apply the theory to make her more docile so that he could get his point across. And eventually, since men are so much better than all women, we are in some respects. Women are better than us in some respects. But if you have a guy who doesn't even understand his own theory, then you personally are not better than any woman. And you showed that in the discussion. But if men are supposed to be the leaders and whatnot, then she should have eventually fallen in line because you just had so much more logic than her. But all I heard was, can I ask a question? 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 I think you got that from your 4-year-old. And I wonder, why would you make an exception to beef with me when Sergeant Willie P's been on the internet for so much longer? And it's a reason. He's gonna say it's because I'm the dumbest of the people who have my opinion, which is really no one. I'm the only one that makes any goddamn sense on YouTube. But the reason that he's making an exception is because he knows that I'm the smartest. I'm the one who's able to best articulate the holes that all of these people have in their theories. All of the people you hang around BGS, even if it's not you in particular, I don't know because I haven't listened to enough of your freaking videos to know about your personal life, but all these other people that you hang around that are in the Manosphere deserve the criticism that I gave. Because when they were young, they wanted Big Booty Brenda. They now chastise Big Booty Brenda for being a nothing female. But it's not like she was the one making all A's in high school either. That's the reason you have all these people with divorces and 2 kids that the woman has, and the woman's on child support because she was never on the pathway to getting a 6-figure job. She was always Big Booty Brenda. So see, as the women are chastising you guys for not being able to make more than $50,000, which is lame, You should be chastising yourself for not going for that nerdy girl back in high school, because all of this anger that you have is based upon those failed relationships that you couldn't generate back in the day. They are. And I'm just trying to help y'all see that you cannot point the finger at these black women when you have been so intricately involved with them, your personal lives as examples. The last point I'll make in this particular video, because I want to move on to the Tariq and Sarah thing, is much more entertaining. I wasn't talking about BGS when I made that video about Classic Man. You see, it's the egotism of this older, not elder, that made him want to take up the mantle. I am the person who is most worthy to uphold this banner, this Classic Man title that we got from a rap song. It's a good song. Jaden is cool. I don't think he'd be fucking with y'all, though. I wasn't talking about you. I hadn't even heard of your channel. It came around because of the solo TV thing. And so what I'll say.
Now this is that's the last cut I'm gonna actually do, because the dude has 300 subscribers, and I don't even know why he has 300 subscribers. Now, about Bitcoin, I was asked a question. I wasn't trying to demonstrate anything. I was asked a question, and I gave him my general question on trading, because I have traded. It doesn't sound like that you have. Anyway, he talks about the hangout, which it wasn't even my hangout. I had no control over it. I had no control over the hangout. It was in Solo TV 84's hangout, and he wasn't even. I wasn't even a part of it. He put me on because we were talking about somebody else, and he said he wanted to bring in a feminist that he knew. So I said, sure, why not? So he brought her on, and we were trying to get her to answer simple questions. But Marcus doesn't tell you there was another woman that was actually on the hangout with us. He brought in two. And even the other woman was kind of looking at that chick side-eyed about how she was acting, because she was irrational. Now, what didn't get recorded is that after the hangout, after the recorded portion of the hangout, she was on with the phone with me for the phone, but not on the hangout with me for another 3 hours. And we're going over stuff for another 3 hours because she was trying to prove her point. And that was a much more rational discussion. She actually calmed down. She actually tried to prove her point, which she didn't. And then even a couple of days later, after she listened to her own playback, she actually came in and apologized to me. Go figure. Now, unlike you, I can tell that you never had a significant other. You never argued with a woman. You probably never even had a woman, because you don't sound like you ever had. You can tell dudes that never been around women or never had a long-term girlfriend because of the shit they talk. Because any dude that's ever had a woman knows what kind of headache they can be. I never said I was the woman whisperer. Now, if you get a rational female in regular dialogue, you can actually calm her down over time, calm her down, and get her to act rationally. Actually, if Solly had played the whole hangout, you probably would have heard that and seen that, where she did calm down. It's difficult to get a woman to calm down when you had 4 or 5 other people in the hangout. Now, I even have another, even more radical feminist, Pure Butterfly Spirit, that actually came on with me. She was on with me for 6 hours. She was irrational. I actually got kudos for that. My thing is, and my whole perspective is that I give you information. I give you my perspective of what I learned. You have to actually go out and try it. And people have actually gone out and tried it and reported back to me that it worked. What can I tell you? That's how come they keep coming back to me. These aren't people that just take my word for it. They actually go out and try the stuff. This stuff has been tried. You know, I've tried this stuff for 20 years. It's not something that I don't know. I'm not teaching you stuff that I haven't tried. Unlike you, Marcus, I have children and grandchildren. I don't even know if you ever even had a girlfriend. You don't even sound like it, man. You sound goofy. You're commenting on Big Booty Brenda and how educated lames can't get it. I dated these chicks, man. More than enough of them. More than I care to comment on. You're commenting on what to do with women, and you don't even give any sage advice. If you gave any sage advice about what to do with women, man, you probably have more subs than you know what to do with. Dating coaches that have written books and have a track record over 20 years have vetted me. That I know what I'm talking about. Who's vetted you? What advice have you given anybody on women or anything else that has actually worked? Anybody can gamble on Bitcoin. I can buy Bitcoin. Anybody can buy Bitcoin. Back in 2010, I was thinking about mining the Bitcoin because I had just built a new computer. I was thinking about mining the doggone thing because it was experimental. It was interesting. Lightning does strike. People do get lucky. I'm sure you have stumbled across a coochie or two that somebody would allow you to dive into. If anybody is a fraud, it would be you. I don't even think you're even a fraud, man. You're a joke. That's the problem. You're a joke. O'Shea is trying to tell me that you're a joke. Why anybody would even flag down your videos, I don't know, because you're a joke. And the only reason I'm even addressing you is because I'm tired of people sending me emails about you. Now, if you want to come on a hangout and discuss it with me, we surely can. We can actually have a knockdown, drag out fight, but I don't think you can because you're too goofy. You remind me of my nephew when he was like 9 years old. Goofy. You don't have to believe a word I say. You don't have to call me sensei or master teacher or anything like that. I only came to IBMOR is because Adagon Forest and T-Quad actually said we need more people doing IBMOR content. People like my content and they asked me to do more of it, and they suggested that I do things like Bitcoin was something that my sub suggested. I keep getting questions about game, about women. I know tons of them. I've known tons of them, all different strata. And I'm giving my opinion on them. And I listened to you and said, do you really know women? I listened to you and said, this dude don't know women. This dude is one step short of a Happy Meal. He don't know women. Why? I don't even understand why people even listen to you, dude. That's my question. You know, and for my subs, please don't send me any more links from this dude. A normal response is normally easy to do. Goofy people like you, it's hard to do a response because you don't have any logic. Saying I don't have something, you haven't demonstrated anything. You haven't demonstrated any superior knowledge. Anybody can look at a YouTube video, take a couple of weeks and do what you do. That's not trading. I Am Bald at least shows his. The people that actually trade the stuff, I know because Mike Bogle is one of them. He trades the stuff. He's the one that wanted me to actually put this stuff on the channel so people can actually talk about it. That's what the channel's for. Now, my subs give me the name Sensei and Master Teacher. What name do they give you? What name do your 300 subs give you? I hope they're nice. With that, I'm going to cut this short. Like, please don't mention this goofy dude's name to me anymore. You know, to my subs. I'm doing this for you guys because I'm tired of hearing about it. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. This is BGS out.